Hi guys, what are we gonna do today? Today we're gonna make Christmas crackers. And you're probably thinking, what is a Christmas cracker? Or maybe you already know. So the tradition was from England. They would make these and put them on their dinner plates. And before dinner started, everyone would sit down, pull the two ends, and it would pop. And you would have a fun gift, maybe a joke, and a paper hat. So it was just a fun tradition. And I think it's just a fun way to wrap fun little gifts and just a fun surprise for people. You can decorate them for any occasion, but you can make them so unique. That's what's fun about this packaging. But let's just get started. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna find the tube you want to use. This is just a toilet paper tube. Well, I did find that different brands you buy, and even same brand, the tubes can be different. So you need to make sure that you're using the same size tubes. Now, to get a really nice roll around your tube, I make roller inserts. So I already have this one done up, but what you do is you take two tubes that are the same size as the ones you'll be using, and then I just cut a piece of cardstock. I just made it nice and wide, and it's by 7 inches. And I know 7 inches will work easily inside of a 2-inch tube. I am just going to roll it, and I'm just putting it inside my tube and pushing it in. And then I'm just going to use some masking tape. And these two roller ends, I am actually going to just keep. And I will continue to use the same ones. Then the other thing you'll want to take down is the seam where the cardstock comes together so it doesn't catch. Make it as smooth as possible. So now you can see you can slide this in, and you can slide this end in. And when you are rolling your paper, you will have a nice length, and then you will pull these out later. So what you're gonna need to do now is figure out, how do you wanna decorate your cracker? You could use just 1 sheet of paper. You could use 2 sheets of paper. You could do 3 sheets, and that's what we're gonna do today. This one's gonna be a little longer, and we're gonna have this background sheet. I'm using this center sheet, and I'm using this in the center. The size of your tube is 4 inches. It will be about 1 inch or 1.5 inches that will fold in, and then you will have your end piece. So this one right here, we are going to be doing 7 by 13. And I know 7 inches is what I need to roll around. So if you're using a standard toilet paper tube, you will need 7 inches, and I probably would not go shorter than 10 inches. So I had these placemats that I really wanted to use, and I like the scallops. So I knew I'd have to make mine longer if I wanted to keep the scallop. So this is 13 inches. So I knew my next layer was gonna have to be shorter than that. So what I wanna do is I'm just gonna stamp this, and I'm just gonna use my barnwood stamp and some brown ink just to give it some depth. The next thing we're going to do, you can use a really strong double stick tape, but I really found a hot glue gun works the best for this. So I am going to hot glue just a little tab on each of the 4 corners here, just to keep this paper from moving when I roll it. The next thing we're gonna do is turn this upside down. This is called a cracker snap. And these are my tubes with the 2 ends still attached. I am going to lay this close to the edge of the paper. I am just going to put a tiny dot. I just don't want it to move. Make sure this is centered, and you want to look at the center by this tube. And if your 2 end tubes are exactly the same, you can kind of just look at the ends of your paper to see. And you want your paper straight so it doesn't roll crooked. I am just going to put a tiny bit of hot glue right here, or you could even put it on your tube right here, but only in the center. So when you get to this end, you want to go about 1/4 inch in, because you don't want your hot glue to be oozing out on your paper, and you want to make sure it's still just in the center part of the tube. I just do 1 dot here. A tiny dot here. If you have 2 layers, you may also want to put an extra dot on the second layer so it lays nice and flat. So after you've decided what paper you want to use, this would be very, very pretty, but I think we're going to go with this one. And then you decide what color coordinating ribbon you're going to use. And I think I'm going to use this. You want to give yourself enough room that you can tie it, but not so big that you're wasting it. I'm going to start with one end, and I am going to start to pull this out, but not all the way out. Enough that I can feel the edge of my center tube, and there's enough of a gap in here that I can go like this. You slightly twist and turn, just slightly. You don't want to rip your paper. Leaving the tube in so it keeps the end really nice and sharp, I am going to carefully tie this. So after you've tied this side, if you're going to put a gift in, this is when you would do it. So after you've done that and you added your gifts, you're going to do the same thing to the other side, a light twist and push in. So the one thing when you tie this is you want to make sure you're tying it where your front is going to be. And you can see my seam is back here. Now I'm going to pull these two tubes out. You need a cardstock strip or something to put into the center of this to keep this nice and open. Okay, so I'm just going to use drywall tape. So all I'm going to do is roll this up. Here is the stick. Put this in. So you're not seeing the stick. It will be covered by that drywall tape, but it keeps the ends nice and crisp. Now we are going to take our matching paper, and I'm going to use my hot glue gun again and decide how you want this on here, and make sure your knots are in the front again. So I think this might need a little something, but maybe not. You could even add a fun little tag, a little sticker with their name on it, or whatever you'd like. And you can see if I just added this instead, it would be completely different. So you could turn this into a lot of different things. So I hope you thought this was fun. It really isn't bad after you've done one, and when you get your little tools together, you can just whip them out no matter what size tubes you use. We're going to be putting some kits up on the shelf. And the cracker snaps will also be in there. And here's the one we just did, and I think it turned out really cute with this tag right here. Here is one, I use vellum. What's great about this is I can use heat embossing, and it gives you a really wow effect. So let's just see how well this worked. And then you have all your goodies that are gonna come right out, and there you are. So I hope you guys had fun, and I hope you really try this out for every occasion. But whatever you do, have fun.